how do you envision kids using a microbit to build upon their curiosities or to create their own digital futures?
How I see kids creating with microbits in their everyday experience is really just letting them know that these tools exist for them to create with. I think we have a lot of rules around the tools in the school so that kids know how to be safe, which is important, and that kids learn how to be resourceful. Unlimited access is never the solution. And so, what would it be like if kids knew that they could pick up microbits to solve problems at school? What if their creativity in solving problems didn't just include poster board and markers to make signs and tell people what to do, or clipboards and pencils to take surveys at recess? What if kids could be building their digital future at school today using something like a microbit? I think they can. And I think giving them that space and the respect to say, here's a tool that you can use the way you think it needs to be used, I think that would be really powerful to see what would happen. You mentioned acting on curiosities
Hmm.
at one point, helping kids act on their curiosities. When you get curious about something on Netflix, like you don't just stop and say, what should I watch on Netflix? Usually a friend kind of mentions a show that they've seen on Netflix, and the next chance you get, you scroll, you find it, and you watch it. I think that type of ethos in creating our digital futures and helping kids to act on their curiosities, it should be the same way with technology. That one child at recess can say, "Hey, I made this pedometer, or I made this bracelet, or I made this flashing hair tie, or I made this game for my friends on the bus." And another child can say, "That's really cool. I want to make that too." And can go into class and actually create that digital tool using a microbit. I think demystifying technology includes sort of a everyday access mentality. And to be honest with you, that's what happened to me. I've always loved technology my whole life. I'm one of these like middle school girls that somehow learned that technology is what you do when you're done with the real work. It was like there were computers in the classrooms, and the kids could only use computers when math packs were done. And, this was in the 90s, which actually is a long time ago now. And so I never even thought of technology as something I could pursue as an undergraduate degree. I never really understood that people could create with technology for a living. And to be honest with you, most people in the future will be making a living by creating with technology in some way. And you don't have to, I'm not talking we're all going to be computer scientists. I'm saying like the woman that comes and draws your blood from you when you go to the hospital. What's that called? The phlebotomist?
Yeah, Dr. Acula.
Yes. When that sample gets put into a cooler, we're not just turning the cooler on and off. We're programming that cooler for a certain amount of time and certain conditions. If they're true, we're going to take care of the blood in this way. And so I'm sorry if that grossed some people out with that example, but increasingly our on-off consumeristic world is in itself to be a consumer in the future is going to require baseline computer science knowledge. To be a creator in the future is definitely going to require some computer science literacy. And so we want kids to be creators because we want to, honestly, and here's what I believe, we want to disrupt who has first and best access to these tools. And what I mean by that is if the same folks who are always having access to create with technology are at the table creating with technology, just like we said in the beginning, a little bit of the maker gets into that which is made. And we will perpetuate and scale these negative biases and stereotypes like never before. I do not think that the future depends on getting more computer science majors and more computer science literacy. I think it involves diversifying who has access to these tools. So many solutions to our complicated problems are alive and beating in hearts of the people around us who don't have access to the tools to express their ideas.
And to express their ideas not just for corporate gain, but for the sake of creating or expressing oneself, or even just for a challenge.
Exactly.